We'll go Murray State head coach Dean Hood. The Racers played at FBS Texas Tech last week. They will be home. Their home opener. They're going to host Jacksonville State, a familiar foe for them on Saturday. So, Coach, just some thoughts on your team, and then we'll go into some questions.
Yeah, I don't know if we played against Texas Tech. We were there for the game. Not very good job playing or coaching. So we're obviously, ready to go to try to play a little bit better this week, and doesn't get any easier as far as talent level and coaching that you're playing against. Very, very good football team. Rich Rodriguez is always going to have a well-coached team and a lot of talent over there in Jacksonville. So big challenge for us.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go Jake from WSIL first, and then Adam. Jake, go ahead.
Good morning, Coach. You mentioned you guys were there, but maybe didn't show up. Was this a lack of preparation, maybe on behalf of the team, behalf of the coaching staff, or was it more than that?
Yeah, well, it's, you get beat that bad. It's never one thing, so we didn't do a very good job preparing our guys, for the game. And then we didn't do a very good job executing what we did prepare for in the game.
With that in mind, how do you quickly kind of turn the page and get ready for a home opener and maybe against a team who is not as dominant in week 2?
Well, I mean, you don't have any choice. I wouldn't say that that's not as dominant. Jacksonville State, you see what they did against Stephen F. Austin, which is a top-ranked football team in FCS. But you have to in college football. I mean, you don't get ready. You got to put it behind you, whether you won big or lost big or won by a little or lost by a little. That game has got to be gone, on Monday when you get up ready to rock and roll for the next one.
Since you've been there, you've never lost a home opener until, I guess, an opener of any kind until this past Saturday. To go back home, a place you've won opening games, is that kind of a nice feeling to know you've done, been here and done that when it comes to opening a season?
Well, it would if I'd been here for 30 years, but I just been here for 2. So we're just talking 2 football games, but it's always good to be at home. I mean, home is so much better, sleeping in your own bed, not worrying about the travel issue, having your fans, having your community, having your students. I mean, it's a big advantage for you.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, let's go. We'll go to Adam Wells next, and then Mike Paris. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Coach, how much do you kind of have to play kind of a mental role with your team as far as getting them mentally ready for this game at home, coming off of, how you described the way that game went with you guys at Texas Tech?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a mental part of the game. I think we got really good kids here that are not happy with the way that they played. And there was no, the positive part of the game was, as bad as we got whipped and as embarrassing as the game was, we had nobody pointing the finger, nobody saying the officials are bad, nobody saying the sun was in my eyes, nobody saying that it was your fault. Where were you? Why didn't you do this? I mean, it was, guys took ownership, throughout the game and after the game and into the preparation week, getting ready for Jacksonville.
I know DJ was hurt in the game. Do you have an update on his status going forward?
Yeah, we'll know for sure. The holiday kind of got us a little bit with trying to get an MRI as quickly as you can. So we're waiting on trying to get an MRI today.
With that said, you have a freshman quarterback that came in in his replacement. How much does that kind of jump on him now in order to get ready, just in case he does have to start for you guys on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate thing has turned into a fortunate thing, really. We Jaden Stinson, you stay in this thing long enough, Jaden Stinson was our number 2 quarterback going in training camp and broke his foot with a weed eating accident, so staying it long enough, you see it all. So, I mean, Maui, got all the 2 reps all during training camp, which ended up, being a good thing now, with DJ being dinged and not knowing if he's available or not. So you got a guy that's gotten a lot of reps, all training camp. He got all those 2 reps. And so we're blessed to have that have happened, to have him be further along than what he would have been, taking the 3 reps and then all of a sudden be thrown into something like this.
with that being said, my last question is, if he does have to start for you, how much do you kind of have to take as much off of Maui's shoulders as possible so he's not having to maybe overthink things if he's, getting that first chance to start?
No matter who you got in there, you're going to curtail the offense to, what they do best. So, I mean, that was the case when we had Preston. Preston did things that were, different and better in certain areas, than DJ. Then when DJ was in there, he did things different and better in certain areas than Preston. So we, curtailed the offense a little bit to their strengths, and we'll do the same with Maui if he's the guy.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Go Mike Paris, JSU Radio Network next, Coach.
Morning, Coach.
Morning.
Just finishing up our pregame show Friday with Rich Rodriguez, and so we wrapped it up, and then I just made the remark that, next week everyone will be ready. Outstanding football coach and Dean Hood, and he just sort of grinned, and I said, "So Coach Hood? So I understand that you were his DC at Glenville State 32 years or so ago. Is that right?"
That's a long time. I don't know how many years ago it was, but yeah, I worked for Coach Rodriguez, and he is an amazing coach, amazing man. I owe Coach Rodriguez a lot. He took a chance on me as a young coach and hung in there with me through some tough times, both on the field and personally, and I owe him a lot.
Was that your first job? First full-time job?
Yeah, that was my first full-time job, and actually went there as the offensive coordinator in year one. And then in year two, he moved me to defensive coordinator. So, and Rich at that time was a defensive guy, played defensive back at West Virginia and was a defensive, coordinator at Salem, and got the head coach at Salem, so head coaching job at Salem. So he was a defensive guy, and turned the thing over to me at the age that I was, gave me a lot of confidence.
You guys have never coached together since then, and you haven't faced each other since then. Is that right?
No, have not. Been conversations, with different places. Rich has been, and I've been, and never worked out for one reason or the other. And we have not played against each other. We've just missed each other a couple times, different places.
Your thoughts after watching a little bit of Jacksonville State? What are your thoughts on them?
Well, classic, Rich Rodriguez coach team, tough, physical, can run, play with great energy, great passion, got an edge about them, and it's that's what I expected. I turned the film on, and that's what we got.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.
Anybody else? Questions for Coach Hood? All right, Coach. Thanks for your time this morning. Best of luck on Saturday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Thank you.